I will walk off of the scene, and I will be thankful. I will say to the members of the great Bahamas Union of Teachers, thank you for allowing me to serve you.
All right, Madam President, thank you for joining us tonight in the rundown, and all the best in your elections next week, Tuesday. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much. A-Team, solidarity forever.
There you go.
See y'all.
Belinda Wilson, there you have it. Can't ask for more than that. That is the rundown for tonight for all of us here. Don't forget to stay tuned into the ZNS Late Night News, which comes your way at 11 o'clock. It is the only live newscast in the evening, the final newscast in the evening with your anchor, Royston Jones. For all of us here at ZNS, I'm Clint Watson. Thanks so much for joining us. And I must say thank you to teleprompter operator who's asleep right now at the teleprompter. Thanks so much. Have a great night, everybody.
At Government House, I'm Regis Cartwright. This is ZNS.
Yeah. I'm going Long Island, folks. I hope all y'all girls and all y'all guys could be there too. I'm going Long Island this year. We got to go Long Island. We got to this year. 'Cause everybody that I know is gonna be there. This one drinking it wrong, man. This one drinking it well. Got to go Long Island. We got to this year. When we go Long Island, so much things to see. Got to go up clearance down to hear my family.
Welcome to Regatta Time. I'm your host, Ricardo Lightborn, and joining me is Shalea Roll, and we are going to be giving you for the next couple of days all the sights and sounds of what's happening right here in Long Island for the 56th edition of the Long Island Regatta. Now, there's about 70 boats that will sail, but this island has got a lot of historical aspects. We're going to talk about what happens here in Long Island and also tell you why the trash talking is going to be something that is unbelievable here in Long Island among the sailors. First trip here, tell me so far, what do you think?
Long Island is extremely peaceful. I love it here. I've considered moving here about 4 times already, and we've only been here since Sunday. But I got an opportunity to tour Southern Long Island with Chuck Fox, and I visited Dean's Blue Hole, the world's famous Dean's Blue Hole, and I got to see tourists swimming in the Blue Hole. I also visited the oldest church in the Bahamas. That was a beautiful sight, along with Shrimp Hole. So I am looking forward to see what Regatta has to bring along with Long Island.
See, she's already started. So there's going to be a lot of activities. This island is 80 miles long, and from north to south, in between, as we've driven down the road, folks are waving and saying good morning, good afternoon. But the good thing is that here in a salt pond where the sailing is going to take place, you'll find that the guys are really going to talk a lot of smack. They are getting themselves ready for what is going to be the granddaddy, which is the best of the best at the end of the year, and you punch your ticket here in Long Island. So if you don't win, you can't go to the best of the best. And also keep in mind, over in Exuma, the Long Island boys said they wanted to prove a point. That didn't happen. The Exuma boys have come over here to Long Island. They want to prove a point. Then the Ragged Island boys are talking smack. The Abaco boys are coming here. They're talking smack. So it's going to be a lot of trash talking here over the next couple of days as far as giving you information on what's happening here at this year's regatta. We're going to talk to the committee members. We're going to talk to a lot of people. And there's also going to be food. Now, this morning when I was out walking, I saw the goats walking around, and I saw my breakfast. And yeah, mutton, plenty of it. We're gonna have a lot of that. We're gonna have ourselves some fun. We're gonna talk to vendors. We're gonna talk about why the kids are gonna have a good time here. This regatta is always based around the family. And the Long Island Regatta is gonna be one you are gonna enjoy. Stay with us. We'll be back in Long Island in just a moment.
We're in Salt Pond, Long Island, 2025 regatta. Ready to get these boats in the water, get the race started.
Hey, this is Andrew Wilhoit. We're representing Hopetown, Abaco. We're on the Lonesome Dove B class. Glad to be here in Long Island and you try to take it all.
We're here in lovely Long Island. Me and my crew from my Uncle John. We're here to participate in the regatta and we intend to take it all.
just what it is. It's what it is, bro. That's why we here. Beautiful salt, bro.
My name is Manasseh Boleg. Growing up, ladies, sorry. Coming here in Long Island. We got 1 or 2 lambs for the slaughter. As you can see, this is the closest this one will be to me right here. So fine. Bird Rock, that guy over there, he's still a little dizzy from the cat skin I put on him, you know? But those are the 2. I'll see what I can do with them as the regatta progresses, and, you know, and try to see if I can bring them bacon.
My name is Scott Harden. I'm from Saltburn, Long Island. Crew at Running Tide, and you're watching Regatta Time on ZNS.
From the northern end of Long Island, Alfred Service Station and Liquor Store has gas for the road and drinks for the journey. Clinton's one stop for go and flow.
Welcome to the Flying Fish Marina, Clarence Town's premier waterfront haven for seafarers and celebration. With 20 full-service slip marine-grade fuel and world-class fishing tournaments, it's a sanctuary for the adventurers. Inside the Lighthouse Point restaurant awaits a wraparound dining experience ideal for birthday receptions, an unforgettable evening with an ocean view. Flying Fish Marina, experience Long Island from the water's edge.
Welcome to Island Convenience in Deals North, Long Island. Your destination for fresh produce, essential groceries, and everyday beauty needs. With a wide selection of snacks, beverages, and personal care items. All within a clean, inviting environment. Shopping here is simply effortless. Experience the convenience of quality service close to home. Island Convenience. Built with care, served with pride.
Discover Island Essential with local touch and hillside food supplies in Salt Pond, Long Island. From farm fresh produce to unique Bahamian delicacies to trusted household items and everyday groceries, Hillside offers quality and care in every aisle. Visit Betty and her team Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and on Sunday mornings, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. That's Hillside Food Supply in Salt Pond, Long Island.
It's the place where we hang Tipsy Tops.
It's Regatta Time in Long Island, and there's only one stop you need before the party really starts. That's Tipsy Tops Liquor Store in Cartwright. From ice-cold beers to smooth-sipping Hennessy, Don Julio, Tito's, and a wide range of fine wines, Tipsy Tops has your drink of choice waiting for you. Sail by Tipsy Tops, where every bottle brings the vibes. Located in Cartwright, Long Island.
Come on down to Tipsy Tops, where you either get tipsy or tap up.
Welcome back to Regatta Time. The 56th edition of the Long Island Regatta is a project that the Long Islanders Association enjoy working on year after year. Well, let me tell you, Tanya Farquharson has been really hitting the ground running from day one, and her job is to make sure that the Long Islanders all pitch in to make this year's regatta a successful one. And she says everybody has stepped up to the plate. Sitting with me is the lady that's in charge of the Long Islanders Association, and that is Ms. Tanya Farquharson, who has been on the ground running here, there, everywhere. But this is something that she does every year. The reality is she's the lady that starts the ball rolling at the first part of the year. And for you, at this juncture, where are we?
Well, we began planning for the regatta since last year, actually. And we do fundraisers to raise, we have fundraisers in order to have monies to fund this regatta because it's a very expensive feat to pull off.
Looking at the facility now, compared to, say, 10, 15 years ago, and seeing the changes that have been made, how instrumental has been the Long Islanders Association in making sure that the transition was a smooth one?
Well, we are very much involved. The property belongs to the Long Islanders Association. It's a cultural site that we allow everyone to use. We work in conjunction with the Long Island Sailing Club. And anything that they need to upgrade the site, we send the materials from New Providence. and they get the people here on Long Island to do the labor.
You just had the fair.
Yes.
You've also had small fundraising events. What has been the response by Long Islanders to assisting you and assisting their birthland?
We had a huge response. Long Islanders stepped up to the plate. We have people that sponsor us every time we reach out to them. They never tell us no, year after year.
Take me back to when you took over and when you decided that this was going to be your baby for a while. Okay? How is your baby growing?
I can say my baby has grown. The site, I don't know, you were here last year. You can see there's a lot of improvements this year. We added a cabana, we added some charging stations. Well, actually, the roof of this is coming off. We already paid for it, but it hasn't been landed here in Long Island as yet. So that's another major thing. We dug a new cesspit this year, huge, because, you know, we have that problem every year with that. So that was a major improvement as well. And then we did a lot of work around the site. If you look around, you can see on the back side where we put that wall there to protect the, you know, the P-rock and stuff from going into the sea.
People say that Long Islanders' navel string makes them come back to their birthland. They may not come physically, but they come back to their birthland. How do you feel about that statement?
Well, it's a true statement. My navel string is buried here. And I come here all the time. This may be probably, what, my 5th or 6th trip for the year so far. I was here last weekend, actually, just checking to make sure things, you know, to see how things were coming on and getting accommodations, you know, for the band and the stage where people we're bringing in.
Are the young people understanding that this is their heritage and they need to grip it and hold on for the ride and be able to step in when need be and when called upon?
I think for the most part, some of them are, especially, you know, if their parents were some of those founding members in the association. But we have had last year and this year like a surge of young persons joining the association in New Providence and also the sailing club here in Long Island. So I think, yes, I think the young people realize what's going on.
How long is Madam President going to sit in the chair and continue in this vein?
I don't know. I think my time may have expired.
But it can't expire.
Well,
how do you feel at this point?
I have a love for it. I don't mind doing it. Sometimes I want to give up, and then I say, no, I can't. I have to keep forging ahead for my island.
Would you look at the number of years that you've been doing this in this regatta, coming back and seeing it and seeing improvements every year, do you still get that queasy feeling in your stomach when you come up here?
It kind of makes my heart glad when I come here, especially when I came this time and I saw the improvements that were made. I was like, yes, it's worth it.
And your mother's still here?
Yes, my
Island?
mom lives here. My mom is Iris Farquharson. She lives in Deadman's Key. She's 92 years old.
So all the chafing she put on you has paid off?
She's still putting it on me. Yes, it's paid off.
All right, and your message to those Long Islanders out there that are contemplating helping and doing things down the road, and your call for them to come and help this association?
I would just like to say thank you to those that did help, and I would like to encourage all of the other Long Islanders to come on board to make it even greater.
Well, there you have it. The Commander-in-Chief, everybody got one. She's a 6-star general of the Long Islanders Association. And we want to say thank you and continue the good work. And I do believe that this year's regatta is going to be one of the best ever. The regatta site here in Salt Pond has gone through transformations over the years. When I first came here, it really has been upgraded time and time and time again. The Commodore is Chester Fox, and also Keith Carroll has worked behind the scenes to make sure that the regatta park and the whole facility itself has met world-class standard. And that's what they were talking about some 10 years ago. today it's reality, all because they want this to be the talk of the regatta season.
Well, you know, we start off in Nassau with fundraisers. Then we have the Long Island Sailing Club in Long Island. They have their fundraisers. So, and we combine all of them together with our sponsors to pull off this big regatta.
We have done a lot of work and still doing some work around the regatta site. Major improvement with the site since last year. Kudos to Kendrick and the team here for getting the site in top shape.
We have the site just about finished. We're just doing the last touches now, and but things really done good, and I'm just waiting on the boats to reach and the people to reach.
Pretty much, we're looking at a good level of participation. We right now we have 7 A-class boats registered, 8 B-class, 22 C-class, and 21 E-class, and 7 G-class. So we have a real good fleet. We should have a really good regatta.
I think it could be anything in the A-class, because all those A-class boats can win the regatta. It's just who sail, who don't make no mistakes. But you know, I'm a legend man, so I hope we win. But like I say, competition is great, so we'll have to see what happens.
With it being a national sport, what I would like to see is more discipline on the sailors' part. To me, the sailors are still not taking the sport as serious as they should be, seeing that it's now the national sport. So that is one thing that I'd like to see improvement on. It's like the sailors themselves, the way they are conducting themselves in a more professional way and treat it like it is the national sport.
For the first time, we're gonna have the big stage that we have in Nassau. They're gonna be up here the first time. We have the Synergy Band. Then we have all the top entertainers. It's gonna be a KB.
I just want to say, everybody come down. Looking forward to a fun-filled weekend of sailing, some nice cane competition. Obviously, we have many of the top boats here in all classes, so we should have a really good, fun weekend, good, clean sailing. And so far, I've been following the weather forecast very closely, so it looks like the sailing conditions are going to be a lot more favorable this year than last year. So I'm hoping that it holds and we can have a fun time in Long Island.
This year's regatta is competitive, and let me give you an idea. In Class A, 7 sloops. B, 8 sloops. In Class C, 21. E has 22, as well as G with some 7. And it started very, very early. The cup races with the E and the G class. These guys really know how to sail, and following them will be C, B, and A. Let's look and see what happened here today. The 56th Annual Long Island Regatta got underway with the Class C Cup race. Yes, it's called the Penland Cup, and it is actually sponsored by Bahamas Wholesale Agency. 19 sloops went to the starting line, and what a race it was. A clean start. Well, that is what we thought. But again, a collision as the boats try to get off the line. The Bull Reg, Whisper, and Cobra 2 having some issues in getting off the line. A collision, that's going to mean some trouble down the road as far as penalty for these boats. But as far as sailing is concerned, yes, the Witty K got a clear look, followed by Sassy Sue and Shroud. Let's take a look at moving now to the eastern buoy as the boats will come around. Looking very good. The Witty K, the first one around, making the right decision. Coachy Burrows making some decisions up front and looking very good. Then Sassy Sue right there. Look at it, coming around the buoy and then opening up. There's Shroud also making the right choice again. Some of the other boats had some issues. Some went around the buoy the wrong way. You know what that means? You are disqualified. But as they in turn make their way to the outer buoy and then back again for the final lap, yes, it'll be the Witty K that will get the cannon, followed by Sassy Sue and Shroud. Let's talk to skipper Coachy Burrows on the cup win in Salt Pond.
It's blowing out there. I was surprised we started the race. Most of the time, if we were in different conditions or different harbor, we wouldn't sail because it'd be too rough. But Long Island Harbor is a nice harbor to sail in. It's always calm, even though it's blowing, so it's a great harbor to sail in. And the boat, Whitty K performed really well today. I was really happy and really pleased with how well she was sailing throughout the water. So I had a good overall race. Had a bad little start, but then picked it back up and caught back up in the front.
What's your gut feeling about this year's regatta?
If God spared life, nothing breaks down. I have a feeling I could win this regatta, so we have to stay in the top 4, top 5 the whole regatta, and you always have a chance to win a regatta like that. So we'll see how it goes.
Congratulations.
All right, thank you.
Long Island is 80 miles long, and for good reason. There's a lot in the middle, and Shalia Roll went south, which means that she was some 35, 40 miles down from here to give you an idea what happens in the southern part of Long Island. Trust me, it's beautiful, and you are going to enjoy this.
That's right, Ricardo. We are taking you beyond the postcards and into paradise. From the secret blue holes to the beautiful beaches to the warm, welcoming locals. Southern Long Island is an adventure waiting to happen. Let's take a look.
I'm Chuck Fox, the owner of 4K's Adventure Tours and Rentals. Well, I like to give tours because growing up on the island, you could imagine it was an awesome childhood growing up on the island because we used to do all sorts of things. And I just always been that adventurous, exploring type of person. I said to myself, I go around here wasting all this gas and doing these exploring myself. I might as well become a tour operator and taxi driver and show people around my island, you know? Okay, we're here at the shrimp hole. It's an inland cave with seawater in it, and it has small red shrimp inside. It's an actual cave, so it goes about 100 feet up inside. You can see fruit bats there sometime, you know, like with bees in the cave. And they like squeak and make noise. They're not vampire bats, so they won't bite you. Once you get to the hole itself, it is an actual cave. It has the shrimp, of course, which is the main attraction. You have a lot of people go there just to see the cave and, of course, the shrimp. And you also have some more adventurous ones who go take a dip. On this site, too, is a historic church ruins, St. Mary the Virgin Anglican Church. That actually was built in the late 1700s, and they say it's the oldest church ruins in the whole Bahamas. Then the next stop was the world-famous Dean's Blue Hole. It's very popular, especially for the locals and free divers. We have free divers who come from all over the world to compete there every year. The first church we went to was St. Paul Anglican Church. That was built by Father Jerome Hawkes back in the late 1800s. And then the next one we went to was the famous St. Peter and Paul's Church, Catholic Church, what was designed by Father Jerome Hawkes, but was built by the community in 1946. There's lots of ponds throughout the island, but there's a big pond in Clarence Town that has a flock of flamingos. It's a very, very beautiful sight to see those flamingos out there. And the natural habitat, they have little birds and young, and they grow up there, so the flock is growing. Long Island has a lot of history. There's a lot of history here. We have old plantation ruins from back in the day, old buildings where people used to live in, you know. Small houses built out of like limestone and stones and the thatch roof. You can actually find places like that on the island where you could see a lot of the way the people lived back in the day. I have the half-day tour and the full day. The half-day is like 4 to 5 hours, which is the most popular one, and then you have the full day, like 7 to 8 hours. I mean, you have people who want to see beaches and historic stuff, but then you have people who might want to see a cemetery, you know, so I could customize it to like whatever the customer wants. So you can find me on social media like Facebook and TikTok and stuff. I'm Chuck Fox, and my company is 4K's Adventure Tours. I have a website you could find at 4kstours.com. That's the number 4, K's, KSTOURS.com.
Now, Ricardo, from the depths of Dean's Blue Hole to the oldest church in the country, Southern Long Island has shown us nothing but natural beauty and deep-rooted culture. If you are a thrill seeker or a beachcomber, Southern Long Island has something for you. Back to you.
The Long Island Regatta is really a hype event here, and this year's regatta is exciting. 56 years of sailing enjoyment. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, some surprises for you.
I got me one nice lady, I call her my own.
Discover Island Essential with local touch and hillside food supplies in Salt Pond, Long Island. From farm fresh produce to unique Bahamian delicacies to trusted household items and everyday groceries, Hillside offers quality and care in every aisle. Visit Betty and her team Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and on Sunday mornings, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. That's Hillside Food Supply in Salt Pond, Long Island.
Escape to Harbor Breeze Villas in Clarence Town, where island beauty meets modern comfort. Our spacious rooms or our standalone villas all offer ocean views, lush gardens, and the peace you've been craving. Enjoy our full-service dining, happy hour at the bar, and occasional live band that will make you move your feet. Call Harbor Breeze Villas and book your getaway.
Welcome to Island Convenience in Deals North, Long Island. Your destination for fresh produce, essential groceries, and everyday beauty needs. With a wide selection of snacks, beverages, and personal care items. All within a clean, inviting environment. Shopping here is simply effortless. Experience the convenience of quality service close to home. Island Convenience. Built with care, served with pride.
Welcome to the Flying Fish Marina, Clarence Town's premier waterfront haven for seafarers and celebration. With 20 full-service slip marine-grade fuel and world-class fishing tournaments, it's a sanctuary for the adventurers. Inside the Lighthouse Point restaurant awaits a wraparound dining experience ideal for birthday receptions, an unforgettable evening with an ocean view. Flying Fish Marina. Experience Long Island from the water's edge.
It's the place where we hang tipsy tops.
It's regatta time in Long Island, and there's only one stop you need before the party really starts. That's Tipsy Taps Liquor Store in Cartwrights. From ice cold beers to smooth sipping Hennessy, Don Julio, Tito's, and a wide range of fine wines, Tipsy Taps has your drink of choice waiting for you. Sail by Tipsy Taps, where every bottle brings the vibes. Located in Cartwrights, Long Island.
Come on down to Tipsy Taps, where you either get tipsy or tap out.
Welcome back to Long Island, Salt Pond, for the 56th edition of the Long Island Regatta. When you go to Exuma, you experience swimming with the pigs. Okay, Long Island is just north of Exuma, and here there's another swimmer, a swimmer that I believe is really delicious. Let Shalia Roll tell you why.
That's right, Ricardo. It's time for the swimming pigs to move over. Omar's Island is where the tourists and locals swim with the sheep.
Welcome to Omar's Island thing. This is how we do it all day, every day. What I did is I actually created a little eco tour. A small family island, we only cater to pretty much fishing and diving. So if you bring your family down and they don't fish and dive, what they do for the whole time. You know, all the family islands are known for something, like Andros is known for crab, Lutra, pineapple, Exuma, onion, we are sheep runners. So this over here on the left, that's Newton Key. This is wrapped by a body of water. This body of water can take you straight down to the Columbus Monument. This here is like a big nursery. It's a nursery for all the fish. So all the fish will come in the back here and have the young one, including the shark, the turtle, and the stingray. And then when they're big enough, then they go out to the open ocean. So you ever seen a sheep swim? You could come out and feed at this point if you wish to. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Come on. Good boy. But this is their food day, you know? So we have the Zumba, we have the goats, we got sheep, we got chicken, we got peacock, we got ducks. We have the McFerry ducks, we get the local whistling ducks. And then over on the right side, this is where they go to pretty much relax or play. together?
Cheers!
From you hit the island, I give the island to you. So the island is yours. Until you leave. When you leave, then I have to take it back. Here we have kayaks, we get paddle boat, we get canoe, we get pedal boat. You can take them out anytime at your leisure. Of course, within safe distance. We have 78 chairs, hammocks, and hammock swings. So if you just want to lay out, you can do that. If you want to go snorkeling, we have 2 planes just over in the corner there, which now has some fish life to it. If you want to snorkel, you can do that also. If you want to do massages, we have male and female masseuse. You can just lay out here, hear the winds blowing through the trees, water crashing, and you can do a massage. If you want to take a nature walk, we have a nature walk where we show you the different plants and what they're used for, like back in the days, what they were used for, Nobody want to leave. And then what they normally say, they don't expect this, it's just totally different, Everybody refer to it as a day away.
Omar's Island has something different to offer the Bahamian culture with his swimming sheep. Back to you.
The one good thing about the islands of the Bahamas is there's something new in everywhere you go. In Exuma, the pigs. Over here is mutton. I'm sorry, the goats, okay? We're gonna take a break, and when we come back, I'm having so much fun here. Regatta time. We're not done yet. Stay right there.
I call them my own. When I go Long Island, man, I feel
Top up your tank, get your automotive accessories, and grab a cool drink with Bayside Service Station in McKenzie's Long Island. Fuel, fix, and refresh, all at Bayside.
Escape to Harbor Breeze Villas in Clarence Town, where island beauty meets modern comfort. Our spacious rooms or our standalone villas all offer ocean views, lush gardens, and the peace you've been craving. Enjoy our full-service dining, happy hour at the bar, and occasional live band that will make you move your feet. Call Harbor Breeze Villas and book your getaway.
Welcome to the Flying Fish Marina, Clarence Town's premier waterfront haven for seafarers and celebration. With 20 full-service slip marine grade fuel and world-class fishing tournaments, it's a sanctuary for the adventurers. Inside the Lighthouse Point restaurant awaits a wraparound dining experience ideal for birthday receptions, an unforgettable evening with an ocean view. Flying Fish Marina, experience Long Island from the water's edge.
It's the place where we hang tipsy tops.
It's regatta time in Long Island, and there's only one stop you need before the party really starts. That's Tipsy Taps Liquor Store in Cartwrights. From ice-cold beers to smooth sipping Hennessy, Don Julio, Tito's, and a wide range of fine wines, Tipsy Taps has your drink of choice waiting for you. Sail by Tipsy Taps, where every bottle brings the vibes. Located in Cartwrights, Long Island.
Come on down to Tipsy Taps, where you either get tipsy or tap out.
Discover Island Essential with local touch and hillside food supplies in Salt Pond, Long Island. From farm fresh produce to unique Bahamian delicacies to trusted household items and everyday groceries, Hillside offers quality and care in every aisle. Visit Betty and her team Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and on Sunday mornings, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. That's Hillside Food Supply in Salt Pond, Long Island.
Welcome to Island Convenience in Deals North, Long Island. Your destination for fresh produce, essential groceries, and everyday beauty needs. With a wide selection of snacks, beverages, and personal care items. All within a clean, inviting environment. Shopping here is simply effortless. Experience the convenience of quality service close to home. Island Convenience. Built with care, served with pride.
You're watching Regatta Time in Long Island on ZNS. Over the whole Bahamas.
The first day of the regatta was very, very exciting, and you had opportunity to get a tour of what's happening down in the southern side of the island. You got opportunity to also see my breakfast swim. Now, I try to figure that one out yet. I've heard of the swimming pigs. Now you see the swimming goats and my mutton, which is on the table. We'll as soon as we finish here and get out of here. So day one, we've seen the competition. We had the cup races, and then we start off tomorrow, which we'll have all the series races 1, 2, and 3 as they get those points and determine exactly who is going to earn their way to actually sailing in the best of the best regatta. Did you enjoy day one?
I enjoyed day one. I can't wait to see what tomorrow has to offer.
And for a lot of folks, it's when the trash talking really start, okay? They will have everything going for you. The kids, this is a family event. They're gonna have bouncing castles, all that stuff. Plus, they have entertainment on the shore. And that's also another part of what's happening here in this year's regatta. They wanna keep everybody here in Salt Pond so that they can have a good time. It's a family atmosphere. And so they're gonna be playing rake and scraping the whole 9 yards. Everybody's gonna have some fun. Also, Shalea went down to the south. This place is 80 miles long. I went to the north. I can tease you about the north. You know why?
What?
Because I look good on top of the rock. I'm not gonna say anything else. But day one was fantastic. We had a lot of special guests here to the island. Some folks who are just seeing it for the first time, or we heard from them. And tomorrow, we're gonna tell you why they wanna come back, like we come back year after year, to cover the regatta in Long Island. So until tomorrow, you guys hang in there, hang in there. Them swimming goats you got, I'm gonna find 2 of them right now. Steam with white rice. See ya tomorrow.
Everybody that I know is gonna be there. This one drinking rum, man, this one drinking bell. I got to go Long
for having the clearest waters in the world. The Commonwealth of the Bahamas is made up of more than 700 islands and nearly 3,000 keys. Geographically, the Bahamas is considered to be a part of the Caribbean and lies in the Atlantic Ocean, extending more than 600 miles from Florida's eastern coast to Cuba's southeastern tip. When the sea level dropped centuries ago, the islands of the Bahamas were formed as a result of coral reefs becoming dry land. Out of the 700 islands and keys, approximately 30 are inhabited. Andros, the largest of these inhabited islands, is 45 miles wide and 100 miles long, and is also one of the largest islands in the region. North and South Andros are separated by 3 tidal creeks, the North, Middle, and South Bights. The island of Andros is famous for providing breeding, feeding, and nesting habitats for numerous land and sea species. The island's eastern side is characterized by a well-defined coral ridge and its dry, broadleaf evergreen forest. Local conservationists have recognized that many of the marine and terrestrial life are closely linked through above-ground tidal waters and underground through porous limestone rock and interconnected blue holes. These valuable and vulnerable natural resources make Andros an ideal demonstration site for the Integrating Watershed and Coastal Areas Management Project, funded by the Global Environment Facility and executed locally by the Nature Conservancy on behalf of the BEST Commission of the Ministry of Environment.
The Nature Conservancy established a program in the Bahamas in 2003. And one of our main focus areas was Andros, as an island that showed a lot of potential for conservation. And the reasons for that really lies in the fact that Andros is the largest island, largest landmass in the Bahamas. It contains significant biodiversity as well as some really critical ecosystems and habitats across the entire island. One of the key things with Andros too is that most of Andros is water. When you look at the west side of Andros, there's expansive wetland systems, there are creeks. You know, the bights of Andros are really famous for moving water from the east to the west, and through moving that water, they move biodiversity is moved, and species are transported from the critical ecosystems and nursery habitats of the west side to the barrier reef on the east side. So just looking at Andros on a map and seeing exactly the makeup of that island, it's really something that, you know, is special. It really is.
In implementing the Jeff I.W. CAM, the Nature Conservancy is also acting in partnership with the Bahamas National Trust, Andros Conservancy and Trust, Nature's Hope for Southern Andros, and the Water and Sewage Corporation, with additional support from local government and stakeholders on Andros, including hoteliers, the bone fishing and sport fishing guides, fishermen, and others.
The purpose of the project is to try to, across the entire Caribbean region, demonstrate activities related to integrated coastal and watershed management that's applicable to countries that are high countries, which elevations, and those that are low countries. The Bahamas in particular is blessed with shallow seas and small islands, and so for us, the project is being implemented looking at the impacts of water resources and pollution in a small environment with low relief.
You think about the fact that this beautiful island, underneath which floats so much fresh water upon which so many people in Nassau depend, and of course upon which all of the natural resources, the forest, the blue holes, the creeks, and by extension the reefs, depend on good, clean water inland in Andros.
Besides fresh water, Andros has an abundance of natural resources that stretch beyond its coast, including the local marine ecosystem, with features such as the Great Barrier Reef, the tongue of the ocean, the Great Bahama Bank on the west side, and thousands of miles of creeks and inlets that offer one of the greatest nursery systems in this part of the world. Iguanas, various species of birds, mangroves, tarpon, and bonefish also exist in great numbers.
At present, we're in the North Andros operation, and this is the new well field where we're at right now. And we have the new and old well field. They cover approximately over 20 square miles. And we have 12 in the old well field and 27 sumps in the new well field. Each well field has 4 legs in the north, south, east, and west. And therefore, they collect water in it via from rainwater or from groundwater level. Each one of these goes through a conduit pipe that ends up in our reservoir. From the reservoir, once the collection's in, that's at our pumping station. Then the pumps are turned on and we pump them via to the boat at our last stage, which is the dock stage. And we have our 4 exhausts that connect to the boat, which at present is the tightest. And then we just would run our pumping station engines for about 4 hours, and that would fill the boat and let the boat carry anywhere from 3 million gallons to 3.4 million gallons every day.
While the natural resources of Andros are mostly intact, there continues to be natural events and man-made activities that negatively impact these fragile systems. And this is why land and sea use plans such as the Jeff I.W. CAM are essential tools for guiding future development of the land and sea.
Water is very, very important. We boast about Andros having the highest water reservoir throughout the archipelago. One of the things that I've noticed is that we are perhaps not taking care of this natural resource. One of the things that I would suggest to Androsian is to conserve our water.
our freshwater resources in South Andros is not as abundant as in the north, and that's mainly due to the fact that we don't have the abundance of rainfall that they have, because they have more of an abundance of pine. And I think that for us in the future, water might become a problem. I mean, even now we have areas in South Andros where there is no fresh potable water. People are using brackish water. And so we've seen where one well field has already been contaminated, and we all know that all the water in Andros is connected. And so that is something that we really, really need to take special care to ensure that we have fresh water for the future.
In North Andros, our well fields are areas that are protected by the Water and Sewage Corporation. Those areas are clearly marked. In recent time, we have found that our residents are dumping garbage onto our well fields. We have seen people who started farms in these areas. There are times when we had to call into the police. We had to ask help to stop this kind of things taking place. I believe that our residents are not aware of the danger of farming near our well fields. The pesticides, the various chemicals used in their farming can very well cause a lot of harm.
All right, some of my concern in the community, it goes back, I think one of the major ones is the dump site, proper waste management. And then another one is the blockage of the creeks. I mean, just like in Central Andros especially, we have but 4, if I'm not mistaken, major blockers. That's Cargill Creek Bridge, London Creek and Stafford Creek. You have Stafford Creek itself. Then you have Fish Creek. And all of these blockers end up to corrosion in the back of the creeks and stuff. And then the creeks, I think, to my knowledge, is where most of the fish and the marine marbles and stuff mixed with the fresh water and the salt water, and that's where they hatch, and they end up out in the ocean and all that stuff. So my major concern is, number one, the marine life when it comes to the blockage of the creek and the proper waste management.
For generations, Androsians have been involved in bone fishing, crabbing, and sponging, among other nature-based industries. Although they continue to be sustainable, if mismanaged, development could pose a serious threat to the well-being of these livelihoods.
You know, developing land use plans is something that I'm very excited that the Bahamian government, as well as other partners, have decided to incorporate into planning long-term for this country. Now, as you very well know, you can travel along any island throughout the country and see development taking place. Sometimes we, as conservation agencies, are aware of it, and then, as you also know, that communication breaks down when we arrive to certain sites, only to find that areas have been cleared that may or may not have had high ecological value to our whole national protected area system. So with the land use plan, we're very excited to be working along and involved in this process, because what this now means is that we can be on the ground before development takes place, that we can assist government agencies, partners, and just the general public in making the best decisions, not only to bring development to their island, but also to maintain the ecological value and integrity of it at the same time.
I think the land use planning is definitely overdue for Andros. And I see it as being a positive tool that we can use to address some of the issues concerning, where green spaces will be. Even because if you maybe in the future we might have someone who comes down here and want to do a factory. We need to decide where we're going to allow industry to go. And so with a land use plan, at least future administrators, future local government practitioners, they will have a tool that they can refer to when they're deciding to grant land for different uses on the island.
We want development on Andros Island, as we understand the development to bring job opportunities for the locals, but we also want to sustain our wildlife the actual diversity to be sure that we do not destroy anything that nature has put here for our benefits.
I think the IWCAM project, that's a good thing for the community because, for example, if that's like all us know as Bahamian, whatever the case is, Andros whole majority of the water situation, all that stuff, like I don't think he's going to build any big development around the freshwater lands or whatever the case is, because I mean that could place in the whole country if you look at it, because we supply the country with water. The fish, the Great Bahama Bank, because most of the commercial fishermen go on the Great Bahama Bank. I mean, sport fishing, we have the biggest fly probably in the world, if I'm not mistaken. That's fly fishing, so it's very, very important. We manage where we build different structures and stuff and around in the island.
Well, I think the land and sea use plan that is being now introduced by government for the conservation and the reservation of Andros, this is great because what this would do is to protect our lobster, our crawfish, our sponge for the future. We would have what you call a great amount of stuff that would not be depleted. Our sponge wouldn't be depleted, nor would our lobster or bonefish. This would be a protection. It's a great idea that has been introduced.
I really like to see it developed because there's so much young kids have to go from here. And if the kids get away from the land, that's mean the settlement is finished.
For industry, I think we could do light industry and develop our craft industry here, which is very good. And when it comes to heavy industry with heavy chemicals and drilling and mining, forget it.
In terms of future development for South Andros, I think we'd like to see touristic development, essentially geared at low impact, desirable visitors. Those who want to come here to enjoy nature as it is. In terms of hotel development, I think we would want to see more small properties, preferably Bahamian-owned properties, springing up. So one of the things that we want to encourage is family groups getting together to run small family-run resorts.
With the IWCAM program, with the land use planning program that it's bringing to Andros, I think it's absolutely essential, and it's going to be a lifesaver for us here, because what it's doing, first of all, is giving us an economic evaluation of what this really is worth to us, and plus, it is zoning out the areas and the importance of the areas, letting us know where the fresh water is at, where the main mangroves and reef ecology and where it all sits and how it all interacts. And the ability to have this accessible and to share with the general population, not only in Andros, but with the entire country.
Modern-day development, though advantageous in some respects, has contributed to the depletion of the world's natural treasures. This is no less true in the Bahamas and on the island of Andros in particular. And many Androsians are appreciative of and eager to preserve the resources that remain.
Land use planning is absolutely critical for our islands, especially as I think we're at a stage where people are now looking at this disaster that we have that we call planning in New Providence and going back to family islands. And so I think it's absolutely critical as we think about relocating populations and starting new industries and doing all sorts of things that we have to go to all of these islands with a clear plan of action, a clear understanding of what can work where and what impact development is going to have on a particular resource. So planning for these islands is absolutely critical if we're going to avoid the mistakes that we have here in New Providence and in other Caribbean islands that didn't have the benefit of forward thinking and planning. We're very lucky in Andros because it is still an island for the most part, which has a low population. There are some issues, there are some threats, but generally a lot of the island is still intact.
Well, the primary threat to the land and the sea here in Andros, first of all, is the lack of education and understanding of what the resource is and its value. And the next threat is totally out of control development and indiscriminate dumping and waste management.
And basically, there's no plan and use for the land. And right now, Nassau is overcrowded. The only place I see where Nassau population can move to is Andros. And if we don't have a land use for Andros, we would look just like Nassau in the future, and that will be most devastating to us. It will be absolutely unsustainable and devastating for the ecology of the island. So definitely, that's a big threat right now. There's no land use management plan for the island.
Our greatest concern to the west side is where we have motherships coming in from maybe Florida or elsewhere, poaching on our fish, and our community is not benefiting anything from it. With the implementation of the national park, we can have wardens out there patrolling these areas, and that would sort of deter the motherships from poaching our waters out there.
We, the sponges, have to space the places, you understand? If we work in Spanish Well this month, then we will decide it. If everybody get together, we go in Loggerhead Creek the next time, and then after 2 or 3 months, we go down south. And that gives the sponge and the bite right here, we call the bite, time to catch up again every 2 or 3 months. That's the only way to keep it going, you see.
Recently, Andros been forecast as the eco-tourist destination. And I can see that now the base is setting. And the fact that you can do so well in that, I think it's a step in the right direction to move Andros forward.
Undoubtedly, the natural resources of Andros are unparalleled to those found on any other Bahamian island. Hence, the significance of land and sea use plans to aid national and local decision makers in developing the island so that these treasures are sustainably used well into the future. Included in the land and sea use plan by the Nature Conservancy is an inventory of the locations of all land and sea resources such as pinelands, coppice, wetlands, coral reefs, conch, and fresh water. But before the land and sea use plan for Andros can be presented to the government, years of research must be compiled. Detailed maps and databases must be created. Assessments of the economy and key resources conducted, and consultation with the various stakeholders and communities on Andros and New Providence must take place. Key components of the IWCAM project include the development of an ecotourism plan, the economic valuation of natural resources, and the water conservation strategy, all of which are designed to educate the public sector and provide vital information to decision makers about Andros Island and its resources. Whether global, regional, or local, initiatives like the Jeff IWCAM have one main objective in these islands: to build capacity in small island developing states by demonstrating how water and other important natural resources can be effectively and sustainably managed for generations to come.
You know, trying to work with a group of not only partners but government agencies to implement a project that is as complicated as the Jeff IWCAM project, because of the involvement of so many different players, has been a huge challenge for us, but it has been an incredible learning opportunity, not only for the Nature Conservancy to implement a project of that scale, but also to work hand in hand with our partners who have a vested interest on Andros, as well as Androsians. So, you know, the final analysis, the outcome of the IWCAM, the Jeff IWCAM project, will really enable us to develop a proper land and sea use plan for the entire island of Andros. Having a tool such as an integrated land and sea use plan is something that, you know, we've never done here in the Bahamas before. We've heard a lot of talk about, you know, doing land use plans for many of the islands of the Bahamas. There's a new Subdivision and Planning Act coming on stream that really focuses a lot of attention on land use plans, but nobody has really focused a lot of attention on the development of an integrated land and sea use plan. So this IWCAM project that's being implemented on Andros is going to be the first of, and so it really makes me proud to have the Nature Conservancy lead this effort along with our partners to implement a plan that's going to be really effective in the long-term management of Andros as a whole. You know, the benefits of having an integrated approach, what happens on the land is going to affect the sea. So we need to make sure that we plan properly for all the impacts that could be possible and that could result in a detrimental effect of, say, you know, runoff from the land affecting your reefs, your nearshore environments, your seagrass, through, you know, land clearing, through, you know, dredging activities, things that are going to happen basically to stimulate economic development, but we want to make sure that we plan so that we can minimize those impacts to the environment.